the Great Depression. He was, I think he was 15 or 16, and everybody needed a job. So he lied about his age. He tells this story, which I think is interesting because now you never get away with this, but lied about his age and got a job flying aircraft and going out to all of the farmers' lands to ensure that they weren't planting crops. So this was an era, and it still blows my mind to this day, that they were burning hundreds of thousands of bushels of corn and wheat and things that farmers had grown in an effort to try to create a shortage to drive the price up. And one of the things that they would do is they would say, if you agree to let your land lie fallow, not plant anything, we'll pay you X amount per acre to plant nothing. And so some of the farmers said, well, forget that. It's my land. I want to grow crops, at least for my own family. And Noah's job back then, which he now regrets, he can tell you the story, but this is back in, the 1930s, is he would drive out in a pickup truck to these properties. And the farmers would meet him with a shotgun at the gate, said, you can't come on the property. And say, well, I'm with the government. I've got to inspect to see if you're growing food. And they would say, no, you can't come on the property. So then they put him in an airplane. And he would fly, literally, the very first aerial surveillance used by the government in this country was used to see if people were growing food on their own property. He can tell the story. It's amazing. And that's what they're doing now. This whole police state control grid, the Pentagon, Northcom, is, we have an old family ranch. We don't even really hunt on it much. But, every once in a while, at the first day of deer season, if you happen to be there, the game warden will pull in or whatever. And now it's just like, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 people will show up and just start demanding, get in that truck, get in that, we don't need warrants. We're God. We're under a federal task force. But meanwhile, the borders are wide open, the government shipping in the drugs. But it's all about government, like bugging their eyes out at you like, it's our country now, boy. And the idea now is how many places can you put the eyeballs? So we've already got the satellite imagery watching you. Now we've got the drones that can fly over. We've got the little dragonflies with a camera in their nose that can fly around your property. And eventually they want to do these antenna trees and put surveillance devices on literally everything in your property. To read the smart dust. Yeah, and then bathe everything in RF. Yes. And there is, we actually saw when we were researching spy chips, Liz and I came across a plan to put an RFID tag in every single tree on Earth. They actually calculated the number of saplings that come up out of seeds every year across the entire planet and calculated how feasible it would be to track every single... And then have us pay for it. Well, of course. I mean, that's the great part is you work to put all the extra tech in the iPhone or the robot attached to the side of your house called a smart meter that's breaking into everything, tracking you, and then admitting it's doing it. Well, and let's talk about payment here, because I want to tie this back to San Antonio, where I was just down yesterday. We met for a couple of hours with the vendor that's producing these radio tracking beacons around kids' necks. And he was boasting, well, we used this down in the Spring Independent School District down in, Houston, and we saved them $1 million. That's like saying, well, there was slavery before. I mean, there's lots of slaves in Angola. Well, we're going back to slavery. Well, this idea that they've saved $1 million in missed attendance over the last 4 years, and then he turns around and in almost the same breath he says, and the city of San Antonio, this district is investing $13 million in surveillance cameras. And I said, hang on a second, so you're tracking kids so you can save $1 million in lost attendance money, and then you're turning around and spending $13 million on surveillance cameras? So where is the money coming from? And what is the money being used for? Do we really need $13 million worth of surveillance cameras in one tiny district in San Antonio? So all that justification, this immense amount of money that gets spent. By the way, those cameras are Department of Defense paid for, our money again, that scans with a smart computer how much calories you eat off the apple, and it's watching what the kids eat. I mean, this is beyond 1984. Yeah, and what the vendor was telling us, a company called Wade Garcia that put this program together down there, they were actually telling us that they've gotten inquiries from schools that want to have GPS trackers on the kids and want to be able to track them when they go home at night. I actually want to track them off the campus. He was saying, one of these administrators says, I can't sleep at night thinking that when the kids get off the bus, they've got to walk home. We need to have GPS. You've got to make it more affordable. Well, and they need to then say the kid was out too long so CPS can come take your kid. Well, yeah. Or yeah, I mean, there's a million things you can do once you track them home. Here's the toll-free number, folks, 800-259-9231 for questions for Dr. Catherine Albrecht and myself, Alex Jones, 800-259-9231, specifically on the Technotronic takeover.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans, here is the Cal Ben Soap Company. Alex and his staff have used these pure soap products for years. These all-natural soaps are made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils that are earth-friendly and safe. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog. Buy the 1 to 2 month sample package and enjoy soaps that are twice as good as what you're using now. Or save big with a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. This is an amazing deal. You can save thousands of dollars and you will love the way real soap makes you feel. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog.
A little over a year ago, I began to do a lot of research into why, even if I had a pretty good-sized meal, that I was still starving. And my research led me to a well-known fact that most of the soils that we grow our crops on here in the United States and across the industrialized world are almost completely depleted of almost all of the key minerals and trace elements that our bodies need to rebuild themselves, fight off cancer, and be healthy. I then searched out the best vitamin and mineral company out there and discovered Youngevity. The Youngevity products are designed to give you the real nutrition you need, and once you've got that, you don't have to eat as much to be satisfied. I've lost 37 pounds in 2 months, simply getting the vitamins and minerals I need. Check it out for yourself. It's incredible. Go to InfoWarsTeam.com today and order your first canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine Complete Multivitamin Mineral Complex Dietary Supplement. That's InfoWarsTeam.com.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com. And like us on Facebook.
There is a signal broadcast every second of every day through our television sets. Even when the set is turned off, look around the environment we live in. Carbon dioxide, fluorocarbons, and methane have increased since 1958. Earth is being acclimatized. They are turning our atmosphere into their atmosphere. We are like a natural resource to them. Deplete the planet, move on to another. They want benign indifference. They want us drugged. We could be pets. We could be food. But all we really are is livestock. Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center and the heart of the resistance.
Stephen Yanakis, the retired top general, is working with Mayor Bloomberg on how the military can be used to confiscate our guns. You know, I thought, hey, I haven't hit refresh on Infowars.com in about 45 minutes talking to Dr. Catherine Albrecht here in studio with us in Austin, Texas. I better hit refresh. And during the break, I hit refresh, and during the break, I watched some of the video we're downloading right now. We'll have it after we take some calls. This is kind of a, emergency. They've got counties all over going, we'll just take guns during any storm or problem, just like Katrina. And now retired general tells Biden military can help with gun control agenda. Feinstein again promises to press the case for disarming the American people. And we have the memo from the Justice Department saying ban all the guns and turn them in. And the communist Chinese, I forgot to mention this yesterday when Michael Savage was on, because his premise is that's going to be used as the muscle. They said in the People's Daily twice, wage a war against your gun owners. That's a quote. We're ready to help. And by the way, we own your debt. So step and fetch. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, punch this up for folks. Retired general tells Biden military can help with gun control agenda. Yep, the big red one can come to your town and kill your mommy and your daddy. Because you know the extremists aren't al-Qaeda now. It's the gun-owning conservative libertarian. Look at Feinstein. I made over $100 million when I went to the Senate off $175,000 a year. Yeah, if you believe that, I got a bridge I'll sell you. So amazing that story's been out. I haven't even covered that. That is just incredible. We'll get back to more of that here in just a moment. New York 7-round law bans most firearms. Eyewitness, yes, to the Nazis did confiscate guns. The media is denying that says Hitler was pro-gun, even though it's on record he wasn't. It's just incredible lies. Just like, did you see where Robert Gibbs, Catherine, was told, now the drone program is public and admitted, all over the world killing people, but you're to say it doesn't exist. And he said, yeah, but that didn't make sense. But it was the Karl Rovian idea of just say there is no RFID. There is no cancer increase. There is no New World Order. Well, wait, you just announced it. And I had the Nightline host, the ABC Nightly News host go, that's a different world government. I mean, it's like they've gotten to the point where it's a learned, what do you call that psychologically?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. But if you give people who don't want to know, if you give them somebody to point to and say, see, they said it's not true, then you let people kind of hide. And I think that's really what it's about. They know, if you're paying attention, you know they're absolutely lying. But then you go and you talk to your mother-in-law or you talk to, your brother-in-law, and they say, you're full of it. Look, this expert just finished saying it's not
Yeah, they
true.
don't respect you. They respect the expert they don't know.
Yeah, which is, I think the purpose of that outright propaganda that you can see through like a transparent, sheet of saran wrap, the reason for it is that there are people who will cling to it no matter how ridiculous it is.
Because they're in denial because they're scared.
Yeah, and they want
So it's like, the world is round. They're like, nope. Robert Gibbs said in this document it is flat and that there's Candy Rock Mountains at the end of it.
That's right. That's right. So that's why it works. So if you ever wonder, why would they say something so obviously false? Like, do they think we're stupid? And the reality is it's not that they think that we're stupid. It's that they know that there are people who will cling to that and use it to tell you to shut up.
Well, and it's also an acclimator where you just get used to them just pushing bizarre baloney.
Yeah. It is too, right? And you get to the point where we're becoming overwhelmed, I think, with so many different voices.
When I first interviewed you, and then we're going to go to calls in 2001, when you were first, you were even just you were in Harvard at the time or whatever. You were fighting the loyalty cards. Then you got into RFID, and you said they're using it to track and do all this. They'll use it for your health insurance under socialist health care. And now let me punch it up for viewers out there. Voila. How the insurer knows you just stocked up on ice cream and beer, the exact examples I used years ago was ice cream and beer, to now increase your insurance because they say that's bad for you, even though most studies show a couple beers actually relaxes you. I mean, you can argue it gets extreme and gets abused, sure. Or who's to say you can't go run 5 miles and have some ice cream? This is the nanny state, and now Bloomberg says what you'll eat. Michelle Obama says what you'll eat. I mean, these people are incredible.
I got to say, back in 1999 when I founded Caspian and we put up the nocards.org website, which is ancient now and hasn't been updated, but it's historically still there, nocards.org. Back when I put that website together, the concern was that we are registering our purchases. So whenever you scan a supermarket card, you are registering your food. And the reason that we all resist the registration of guns is because we understand first they register, then they regulate, then they restrict, then they confiscate. And the same is true for food. First, they register, which is what these supermarket cards are. Then they will begin to restrict and regulate, and then they will begin to confiscate. So
look at this. It even says that the employers get into the files and get to know what you're eating now. Yeah. Because, the fun is everyone gets to be a Stasi spy.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the idea here is that you will be told when you get to the supermarket, and there are people talking about this, that when you put that pound of butter in there and you scan your frequent shopper card, which will at some point, I believe, become mandatory, they'll say, no, I'm sorry, you've already had your monthly quota of butter. You can't have that butter. You're going to have to put that back and get...
And by the way, the top environmental groups say, with all this now, we will ration what you eat.
Absolutely.
That's in the Plandopolis videos for kids, where you get meat on your birthday.
Absolutely.
I mean, the smart grid is the death grid, is the slave grid. And does anyone listening out there really want to be part of this?